I've been watching some of his stuff, and I
Oh,
watched one video, and there was this guy who's being such a prick to you.
Of course.
And you said to him, "Why are you being a condescending prick?" And I just started laughing. I was like, "What a dickhead!"
So that's called that's he calls himself Professor Dave Explains. But if you look into his history, he's actually a failed musician that dropped out of college, and he is propped up by YouTube. I don't know if he's being paid by YouTube or whatever. I mean, he gets paid for his views. His channel is filled with all fake accounts. He has 2 million subscribers, and none of them, or almost every single one of them, doesn't have any content on their channel. They're just
he paid for it. Yeah.
They're just empty content channels, And then during the live stream that I did on Sean Atwood's channel, he should have had 10 to 20,000 people in the live chat. He had zero. And it's so ridiculous that the Globe side, the only argument they have is insults and criticism and saying I don't understand.
Yeah.
And
well, anyway, crazy. Look, we'll talk. Let's do that when we press record, because I always do this. I start talking.
I already hit record.
Oh, right. Stop being so clever. So welcome to My Way of Thinking today, and I have a very special guest. It is the one and only Flat Earth Dave from Connecticut. Welcome, Dave. Woo!
Hey, thanks for having me, Lee. Glad to be here. This will be a fun conversation.
Definitely. Well, you got in touch with me, and I didn't look at bios or anything. I just saw Flat Earth Dave, and I thought, I want to speak to this guy because I've spoken to a lot of people, and I've never spoke to anyone that talks about the flat earth. So straight away it sparked my interest. So thanks for getting in touch.
Cool.
Now, what I always do before we start chatting, I always ask the person where they're from. I mean, the good thing is with our technology, we can cover the whole world and talk to people from everywhere. And I've never interviewed anyone from Connecticut. Are you in Connecticut?
I am in Connecticut.
You are. So tell me something interesting about Connecticut that I probably wouldn't know.
It's the most corrupt state in the United States.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it? That's
our school board. We're in a big fight with our school where they're forcing this thing and all sorts of stuff on the kids, even though it's been proven that it's not a safe bet, and it's crazy. They're all corrupt. They're all paid off, and that's the most interesting thing about Connecticut. But let me ask you a question. I'm going to just transfer your question into something that relates into the show.
Yeah.
Where do I live?
Connecticut.
Okay. Is that a belief, or do you know I live in Connecticut?
Well, that's just what you've told me, so I'm just trusting you.
So is it a belief, or is it a knowing?
Yes, a belief.
It's a belief. And if we had to verify every single thing that we're told in our whole lives, we would just never have any time to get anything done. So we're required to believe some things, right? We're looking at each other. I got an honest face. I'm looking at you. So to know it, what would you have to do? You go on Facebook, maybe you say, "Oh, I found him. I see some of his friends. Oh, look, I see where they live. Oh, I found his high school. Yeah, he lives in Connecticut." Bam! Now it's a knowing. Belief is the enemy of knowing, right? You, and by the way, when I'm insulting you for being a Glober, I used to be you, so don't take it personally. Okay?
Hold on, I didn't say I was a Glober. Hold on, Dave.
Oh, you've been doing a little research. You see,
go on.
So believe. People believe they live on a ball, and then you ask them why, and they don't know why. They go, a guy in a bow tie and a white lab coat told me. My teacher told me, my textbook told me, but they never verified any of it. And belief is the enemy of knowing, but ego is the protector of belief, because when you have a lie that your entire life is built around since before you could talk, right? They're programming you with ball programming before you can speak. Your parents probably put a mobile of the solar system above your bed, and you had NASA sheets, and Sesame Street and Disney have astronauts on there, and it's all about the globe. When your whole life is built around that, and someone goes, "Oh, that's a lie," your ego is like, "Wait a minute, I can't be lied to my whole life," and that's what stops people. But if you can lay down your ego, engage the 90% of your brain that they tell you don't use in school, The objective of school is to only get you to use 10% of your brain, so you'll be a good little worker slave. When you engage your brain, actually think, then you're like, how the hell did I ever believe in this heliocentric globe system in the first place? That's where you're going to get to if your ego will let you.
Now that is, well, there's loads of good points there. One is the school system. I've talked about this just lately and said it's very antiquated. It's very old. You know, what they're teaching now, they've not come forward and moved on over here in the UK. I don't know about there.
It's horrible.
Now, belief is an interesting one, because what we have to do is believe in people who say they're experts, but are they experts? We don't know. So I'll totally agree with you with belief, but also there's a trust there. So if I read a book by an expert, I'm trusting that what they're saying is correct. I can't actually find out, you know, I can't come to Connecticut to check that you're there. So there's certain things that I have to trust. I have to trust the internet, trust you've put the right information on Facebook. So belief is a massive one.
Absolutely. And
trust as
right,
well. That's a big thing.
Belief, trust, verifying. But there are things that we can verify. We can verify physical measurements here on the earth. What we can't verify is stuff in space and stuff beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. That's all off limits. We'll get into all of that. So when I was asked, you know, when I was doing a conspiracy podcast, and long before Flat Earth, and people started sending me Flat Earth stuff, and I wouldn't watch a 1-minute video. That's the dumbest crap ever. I'm too busy, you know, and I'm banning you from ever commenting on our social media again because you're so stupid for even suggesting it. But then when I had the conversation and I actually went in to prove it, that's how all the Flat Earthers, and there's millions and millions of us now, we all had the same story. We didn't want to look at it. Then when we did, we're like, oh my Lord. Like if I told you that your parents were serial killers and ate babies while you were sleeping as a child, you wouldn't even bother looking because that's ridiculous. But what if you looked and you saw that it was true, right?
Yeah, right? It happened to someone.
It's horrible.
Somewhere.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know why I always use that analogy.
Oh, no, that's a bad analogy if kids are listening.
It's so bad. It's so bad that I kind of going to keep using it.
But look, before we get, let's go backwards a little bit.
Yes.
Tell me where this sparked from. Because you're obviously very, you know, you're enthusiastic about it. It's something, you know, you really believe in and want other people to know about. Let's go back. Where was the spot? Was it later on in life, or was it when you were at school? Was there certain things?
Oh, no.
No, go on. Tell us.
Well, going way back, in kindergarten or first grade, our science teacher or our classroom teacher brought us outside to teach us about gravity, and got a bucket of water on a rope and swung it around and said, that's gravity. Right. That's why the water doesn't fall out. Yeah. And I, inquisitive at that young age, I said, wait a minute, but the water's on the outside of the earth and the earth is spinning like this. Wouldn't you have to turn the bucket the other way? And the teacher's like, he goes, well, that's a great question. He goes, but this is the way the book tells me to teach it. And that's the way I'm going to teach it. Right. And I think I lost faith in humanity at that point, at that young age. Yeah. So flash forward, out of college, you know, corporate America. And I started looking into, you know, 9/11 happened. I have a direct line of sight from where I am to New York City with nothing in the way. So I saw it for myself. I didn't see it on TV. And that's really what got me going. And then, you know, a couple of years later, I'm looking into that. And I looked into the Federal Reserve, and I found out that, wait, they're a private bank. Wait, what is this? And so that's when we started our podcast, myself and my buddy Tim. And it was called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. We looked into conspiracies. And then that was in 2012, somewhere around there, 2011, somewhere around there. So I'm in New York City doing this podcast. And then listeners started, as I said before, hey, check out Flat Earth. Not going to look at it. And then finally, when I looked at it, it was by 2015. I was like, oh, my Lord. And then I was like, I can't talk about this because it'll just discredit everything I've done. And then I was like, wait a minute. The truth is the truth. It is what it is. And we brought it up, and basically the podcast blew up after that because my other two co-hosts couldn't handle it. And, you know, because we brought up everything else, and all turning out to be true, of course. And so then I started the Flat Earth podcast, and that went on for a while. It's still going on, but we just haven't done an episode in almost a year.
Yeah.
But they still all hold their weight. Everything's on flatearthdave.com. Listen to the podcast while you're commuting. Watch some of the videos if you're sitting on a train or bored or whatever. And then you'll start to see this world. Did I answer that question? I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you did. No, you did. What's interesting, it starts off with conspiracies. You're into conspiracies. And so what I get from that is you're interested in going against the grain, and you don't trust the government or, hot people in power or things like that. So you question.
I want to trust the government. I want to trust everybody. But when you get burned again and again and again, if you had a friend, a person that you knew that kept lying to you again and again and again, says that, and then you find out it's all a lie, you're just going to give up on that friend. You're going to get rid of them. And then when we start seeing all these things, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? Okay. The people that believe in the globe are conspiracy theorists. I'm a conspiracy analyst.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And because I look at things, I do, there's a great meme that goes around that says, I've spent 10 years researching day and night on these topics and showing you the truth. And then you call me a conspiracy theorist with zero research and not even looking at any of the information. Right. Something like that. It's actually a better meme than that. But, when you think about flat Earth, right, this is what people think flat Earth is, right? No flat earther thinks that we're a disk floating in space with other round planets or even other flat planets. Wow. Okay. None of us think that. So they're giving you a false binary. Well, are we either a round ball or are we a flat disk in space? Both are false. That's called a false binary, where you have choice A false and choice B false. Yeah. And you're stuck. And you think those are your only choices. It's like Republican and Democrat, vote for one. No, they're both monsters. Okay. Yeah. They're both tied to the same system. So no flat earther thinks that, and if you watch any mainstream media, they'll show you this disk in space. You Google flat earth images and this picture comes up of a disk floating in space, like a turnip pulled out of the ground, right? Yeah. Absolute insanity. But this is what they want you to believe. President Obama, during his reign, he mentioned the Flat Earth Society 6 times during speeches. Why would he mention the Flat Earth Society? It's because the Flat Earth Society is what's called controlled opposition. They want people to go there. Like, let me Google Flat Earth Society. I heard Obama say that. And you go there and it's nonsense. It's all nonsense. A tiny bit of truth mixed with nonsense. Flat Earth Society says that the Earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second, and that causes gravity. No flat earther believes that. Only globe believers believe, flat earth believers believe that. That's a lot of believes, but if that made sense, I think it did. Okay. A lot of beliefs in there. Belief is the enemy of knowing.
So what do you believe? What is the earth then? I guess it says, because I know what you're saying. You're saying, the people are saying, they're it's comical what they're saying. But the reason it's comical is because you're saying flat Earth. So that gives you images straight away of the Earth being
programmed images. Okay. So we're going to get into that, but let me just ask you some questions. I got all these questions wrong. You probably have watched a few of my videos. You might know some of these answers.
Probably won't.
How fast is the Earth spinning? It's orbital. It's rotation.
I know it's thousands of miles an hour.
Well, 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. Right, because it's got to go all the way around, right? But if you're in Alaska, that's a much smaller circle, so it's spinning slower. So you got to realize it's spinning at different speeds depending on your latitude. Okay. All right. How fast is it orbiting the sun? It goes around the sun once a year, 66,600 miles an hour. Okay. How fast is it chasing the sun? As you can see in their model, it's chasing the sun. How about 500,000 miles an hour? And I'm not even going to mention another direction. The whole galaxy is moving sideways at over 2 million miles per hour, moving 4 different directions at once, traveling billions and billions and billions of miles every year. But somehow all of the stars are never change. Go out tonight, look at the stars. Go out next year, same night, same time. Look at the stars. They're in the exact same position. Bizarre, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So let's talk about the speeds that I just talked about. This is the hypersonic track sled. And if you look it up yourself, just search hypersonic sled track, and you'll see this video. And this way you can hear it. But it's going by a Mach 8.6. Watch it. Here come. Oh, missed it. Okay. Mach 8.6.
Yeah.
Right. That means that we are traveling, we are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than that. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But when we go out in nature, this is what we see.
Yeah.
On a calm morning, this is what we see. Right? Now, people say, well, the earth is already moving. You know, look, when you're on an airplane, I could drink a glass of water and I could take a walk to the bathroom. And, you know, once you're in motion, you don't feel that acceleration. But these are all elliptical courses. So when you're in a car going 100 miles an hour, no problem. Drink your water. You can even pour water on a dinner plate. It'll stay there. Car takes a turn, the water's gone, right? Everything goes. And we're speeding up and slowing down all year long. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. People go, oh, well, it's only going around once a day. Can you see the hour hand on a clock move? And that's going twice as fast. Think about this, right? They're right. It is going the angular speed is twice as fast because it goes around twice in a day. But think about this. If you're on a merry-go-round, right, a regular carnival merry-go-round, and it was rotating at once per day, and you're sitting on the outside horse, that's pretty friggin' boring. You wouldn't even notice that you're moving. It would be unbelievable. Now we're going to spread that thing out to 24 miles in circumference. Well, now that the merry-go-round's moving at about a mile per hour, that's a very slow walk, right? Now make it 240 miles around. Well, now it's going 10 miles an hour. I don't think you can run to keep up with it. Okay. So you're curving at 10 miles an hour. You might even feel a little outward swing. Now make it 2,400 miles per hour. Now it's going 100 miles an hour. Yeah. Okay. You're going to get thrown off that horse. Now make it 24,000 miles around. That's the circumference of the earth. You're going faster than the speed of sound on a curved momentum. You're going to be thrown off that horse. You ever go to the carnivals where they have the adult merry-go-round where it goes really fast?
Yeah.
And if you're not big enough, they put you on an inside horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that angular speed's the same, but the linear speed's slower. The tall person that's just 10, 20 feet farther out is going much faster.
Yeah.
Right? Wrap your head around all of that. And, you can believe that water does this. That's insane. Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know who he is? The high priest of scientism. He's the guy here in America that's like the spokesman for science, and he's basically just a failed actor. He says that because of the spin of the earth, the water bulges at the equator 14 miles high. I always thought that was the coolest thing ever when I was a globetard myself. And 14 miles high. Think about this. An airplane flies at about 5 miles high. So at what point when I'm flying from the north to the south, do I have to climb 3 times my altitude just to skim over a hump of water? Okay. Absolute insanity. Absolute, complete and utter ridiculous insanity. All right. So we're going to get to what the flat earth is, and then I'm going to let you hit me with all the questions you want. What is this? What is this? What is this landmass called?
Oh, Arctic.
Antarctica. Antarctica. This is the South, supposedly. Okay. Yeah. So they tell us that that's about 10 to 13,000 miles around. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And they also tell us it's the highest land on Earth.
Okay.
Highest land on Earth. That's interesting. I always wondered why it's at the bottom. Maybe that's why. Right. But in reality, if you go look for Antarctica, like photos of Antarctica from space, where are my space photos? Well, they're all cartoons. If you Google Antarctica from space images, they're all cartoons. Why aren't there any images? Right. So let me ask you a question. After it rains and you have a puddle outside, where does a puddle form? Does it form at the top of a hill?
No,
in the basin.
Oh, yeah.
And the edge of the puddle is where the land is higher than the puddle. Because if it was lower, the puddle would just flow somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then you look at a pond is the same thing. It's just a bigger puddle, and a lake is a bigger pond. right? And the land that's higher than the water contains the pond. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, testably, measurably, scientifically, provably flat. They need lateral pressure, and that shoreline, it gives that lateral pressure and keeps the pond there. And if you don't believe me, lower some of that shoreline and the pond will flow away. Well, think of our world as a giant pond, all of the oceans as a giant pond, right? All of the continents and islands are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by the highest land on earth. The shoreline of our world pond is Antarctica. Antarctica is likely bigger than all of the other continents combined and oceans combined. Think about that.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
So where am I going here?
But haven't people crossed Antarctica?
No, they haven't.
I thought they had.
You thought they have, but when you look into it, they'll go like here, and then they go to like here. They say they're at the South Pole, and then they go to like here, and then they leave. Right? Nobody's ever gone south and then popped up over on the other side of the world. Never happened, right? Let's go to circumnavigation. So circumnavigation, people think, well, I could leave England here and I could head east and go over to China and over to US and keep going east and end up right back to where I come from.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is not how it works. So this is how it works. All compasses point to the North Pole. Mm-hmm. There's no compass south of the equator that points to the South Pole unless they switch the letters on the actual compass, right? The magnetic side of the compass always points to the North Pole.
Yeah.
Because the North Pole is our magnetic center. So here's our world. All this white is Antarctica. We don't know what's out there because it's off limits. And here's my boat, and my needle is pointing towards the north. I'm trying to push this thing west, but I got to keep turning, correcting to the north to maintain my heading of 270. Right? Yeah. So here, if I want to go east, 90 degrees east, if I have to keep turning to maintain my heading of 90 degrees. So this is how we circumnavigate. Doesn't prove the earth is flat or globe because it works on both. However, if I try to dead reckon west, now watch, that line is west. And if I follow that line, bam, I'm heading south. Okay. South is every direction away from the center.
Right.
Ready? Watch this. I'm going to pull an amazing trick. I'm going to tell you to point in any direction in your room right now, parallel with the floor. And it's going to be, it's going to be south. Go ahead. Point any direction you want. It's south. That's south. Try again.
Well, that way.
That's south. Okay. Now look, here's the north.
Yeah.
So if I'm here, let's say I'm here and I'm going to go this way. Look, come back. I have to refresh that. Hold on. So let's just refresh that. Where is it? Where'd it go? Here it comes. So I don't want to do that. Here we go. So south, remember, north is here. So anytime you're walking away from north, you got your back to the north, you're heading south. So if I'm here and I want to go this way, that's south. If I'm here and I want to go this way, that's south. If I'm here, I want to go this way, that's south. Well, how about if I'm here and I want to go this way? Well, that's north. Up, now it's south.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
As soon as I pass the North Pole, it's south. South is every direction away from you, except when you're going north. But as soon as you pass the North Pole, you're heading south. So every straight line will reach Antarctica. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So if the Earth was a ball, you should be able to leave Santiago, go south, and pop up over here in Australia or New Zealand. Never happened. No one's ever done it.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. So I was rubbish at geography anyway. So.
Well, guess what? You're going to get a lot better. Because the geography they're teaching you is all absolute and total nonsense.
I said that when I was at school. I said to my teacher, this is bullshit. And I actually think I got thrown out of the exam because It's just so boring. Now, if they'd have taught me this, I would have been interested. You know, this is far more interesting.
Absolutely. And see, that's the thing. Boredom and fear are the mind killers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And all flat earthers, and I'm going to show you how there's tons of us. And I'm going to show you how you can find the ones that are around you, because a lot of people are in the closet, and they you wouldn't know your next door neighbor's a flat earther, but you can find out now. All right. So here's the Earth.
Okay.
Top half is the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Bottom half is the southern hemisphere.
Okay.
You're a pilot, right? You're going to pick any location in the north and any other location in the north. Any combination of any two northern locations. Would you ever need to cross below the equator?
Well, no.
You're absolutely right, and no planes ever do. Very good.
Yeah.
Would the same thing be true if you're in the south? Any two southern locations, would you ever cross above the equator to get to your other southern location?
No.
Okay. So watch this. So here's a flight. Whoops, I gotta hit play. So here's a flight. Hold on, let me make that a little bigger. So here's a flight. It should go from here straight across, but this is the actual flight path. These are the three different flight paths. Why do they cross the equator in the south and then come all the way back down? Right? If we look at them on a flat Earth map, I'm going to retrace these on a flat Earth map.
Yeah.
It's a straight line.
I've seen that before. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Right? Here's another one from Santiago, from Johannesburg to Chile.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That seems to be the fastest trip.
Yeah.
But watch how crazy this one is. Right? It goes all the way up and all the way back down.
Okay.
We look at it on a flat Earth map. Again, I want you to see one more after this, because it really shows how friggin' crazy the globe is. On a flat Earth map, bam, straight line. Straight line. And then the next one, just watch how crazy this one is. It goes all the way. Here it comes. It goes all the way up there and down. Why is it taking this huge ocean trip when it could just go beep? Because on a flat Earth map, it looks, where's the flat Earth map? Didn't show that one. It's a straight line on the flat Earth map. Yeah. So let me just show you.
Is that because they're flying? Is that because they're flying? Oh, they need to fly over
land.
Land, yeah.
So let's.
I don't know. I'm not.
No. It's a great question, and that is the programmed response that everybody has. Here, let me show you this. So this is this one goes all the way up here, and then all the way down. When in reality, it's a straight line with a little stopover, right? Yeah. So I'm going to show you another one. Yeah. So this one right here. Yeah. Why wouldn't they just fly across here? It's about the same amount of open ocean, same amount.
Right. I got you.
It goes right over here. But look, it's a pretty straight line, you know? Yeah. You're not allowed to fly over the north. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Yeah. Right. And these flights are constant. Only in the south will they cross into the north. Never look at the flat Earth map. Any two northern locations, you can draw a straight line between any of them, and you would never go outside of this circle. This is the equator.
Yeah.
Right? Everything inside this equator is the north.
Yeah.
Any 2 points in there, you draw a straight line between them, you never cross the equator, and no planes ever do.
Is that because of weather?
No. Well, why would a plane, so you take this, this latitude south, so an equal latitude north might be here, and you take this one, an equal latitude north might be here, right? Why would they cross into our bad weather if they're bad weather? It's absolutely ridiculous. Look at it. How many times does it have to form a straight line? So here's another thing that happens. Sometimes on an airplane, there's an emergency. Someone's having a baby, someone's having a heart attack, and the plane needs to land. Well, we documented, by we, I mean, Eddie, my buddy Eddie, documented 16 of them. And this flight, there was an emergency. They landed all the way in Seattle, which is like 1,000 miles out of the way. And they landed there really quickly. How the hell did the plane go 1,000 miles? That would take 2 hours. Yeah. Okay. And they landed there really quickly. But look at Seattle. It's right on the flight path. Right. So let's look at it just a couple more. Here's another one. They landed in Moscow.
Right.
Like way out of the way. And they landed there really quickly. Moscow's right on the flight path. Okay. Emergency landings prove the earth is flat. Another one, they had to land in Calgary. Look how far Calgary is off. That's like 1,500 miles, right? Yeah. Calgary, right on the line. Now, I'm showing you a bunch of memes. Like, oh, I'm not going to just believe a meme, right? Well, you believe the meme because in all your science books, all you were ever showing is memes. But all of these are documented in this book called 16 Emergency Landings that Prove Flat Earth. Google it online. It's free PDF, or you can buy it on lulu.com if you want the book. Because it's a great coffee table book, because if anybody touches it, they become a flat earther just by putting your finger on it. You just touch it. You're like, whoa, the earth is flat. Oh my God.
So what do you believe? So what is the flat earth to you then? Because if we look up into the sky, we can see the moon's a globe. We are
slow it down. We look up into the sky and see that the moon is a globe. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but we never see the other side of the moon. Is that where you're coming from? Yeah.
No, not yet. But here's NASA took this picture of the backside of the moon. How come it's not lit up like the moon that we see? This is a full moon. Yeah. Well, this is a full Earth, so we should also have a full moon. And this is what NASA shows up, kind of showing you that NASA's full of crap. But if you can't touch it or measure it, you don't know what size it is. Is this a sphere? Well, no. How about this one before I grab it? Is that a sphere?
No.
You sure? It could be tricking you.
No.
Looks like a sphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a sphere to me.
It's flat.
Oh,
how about this one? Is this one a sphere?
Yes.
You're right. Oh, no, you're wrong. It's a cup. Oh. Okay. So my point is, if you can't touch it, you can't prove the shape of it. Right. Yeah. If you can't touch it and measure it, you can't prove it. What is this one? Oh, yeah. So look, here's a bridge. Yeah. We're going to get into this. This is a bridge that the Globers use. This proves the curvature. God, the earth must be small if you could see this curve. It's called the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. But here's a bridge. We're just lowering the camera. So here's a bridge. It's straight. We can see it's a straight level bridge. And as we bring it down, we kind of get a false horizon and this crazy curvature, right? This is all just optics.
Yeah.
Right?
I can understand that.
Yeah.
So what shape do you think the Earth is then?
Oh, it's a star. No, I'm just kidding. What shape is the Earth? I don't know. How would I know what shape the Earth is? So let me. I'm trying to think of a better answer. So here's one way to look at it. And again, anything outside of the shoreline of Antarctica, because there's the Antarctic Treaty in 1940s and 50s. We started exploring Antarctica. Admiral Byrd came back, said, there's a continent bigger than the United States that no human has ever seen before, filled with resources. And then immediately, 6 months later, he dies mysteriously, heart attack. Interesting. Young guy. And Antarctic Treaty goes into place. Every United Nations country in the world has signed on to it since 1959. And you can't even question it until the year 2041. No treaty has ever lasted that long. Countries are fighting where, Russia, China, England, US, all of this nonsense going on, but everybody agrees. No, can't go to Antarctica, right? We're fighting over resources. There's no animals, there's no people there, just resources. No, you can't go there, right? Burn down the Amazon, fight over this, fight over that. Isn't it amazing that all of the countries in the world that we're having all of these conflicts with all agree on Antarctica? Yeah. And they all agree about what this thing is, and that everybody needs to do this kill Gates thing. Okay. I don't know what your views are on that, but all of them, all of a sudden agree on these things unanimously, perfectly, right? All of this division is about control. All right. So what shape is the Earth? Flat is not a shape. Flat is a description for level and horizontal. We can look out and see, before I go here, we can see too far. So let me show you an example of that. So here is there on a ball. My ball.
Where's your ball gone?
I've got this ball, but it kind of disappears. Right. All right. So
that's a football, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Okay.
All right. So here's my boat.
Yeah.
And as my boat goes away, it
Yeah.
disappears behind the curve, right?
Yeah.
And if I zoom in, you still can't see it because it's behind the curve, because right here is a physical curve. So if something goes behind a physical curve, you can't see it. If you zoomed in on it, as I showed you, it doesn't make a difference because it's behind a physical curve. So on the ball, 24,901 miles around, there is a curvature formula. And using their curvature formula, we can see too far. This camera is at 1 foot. At 1 foot, the horizon, there's a 1 foot drop at 1.2 miles away, right? Is it 8 inches per mile? 1.2 miles away, or 1.2 or 2 miles, whatever it is, or 2.1 miles, whatever. At the distance of this rig, there should be, at 9.4 miles, there should be 59 feet of curvature, according to Globe Math. But not only can we see the rig, we can see the surface of the water for way, way, way beyond it. And so people say, what about, I've seen sailboats go over the horizon. Here is showing you the optics. There's a matchbox on this table. I'm zooming in. There it is. As I zoom out, it just merges into the horizon and you can't see it anymore.
Right. Okay.
See that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm showing you that and I'm not even showing it to you. There it is. So here's this table and we zoom in. Here we go again. We zoom in and there's the matchbox.
Yeah.
And then we zoom out and it just merges. Everything just merges into the horizon.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just showing you how things can disappear on a flat plane. So now let's look at on the water. So when you go out and there's a cloud deck, you have nice cumulus clouds. Yeah. Above you, they're 5,000 or 10,000 feet, but in the distance, they're touching the water, 30, 40 miles away. They're touching water. And that's
you've been gearing up.
All right.
Gearing up now, aren't you?
All right. So we had a little break there. The Zoom timed out. So we're starting, we're backing up. So I was talking about the clouds in the sky. They're 5,000 or 10,000 feet over your head, but in the distance, they look like they're touching the water. So in the distance, if you zoomed in with a camera, what you're doing is opening up this angular size, right? So here we go. We have a flat horizon, right? So here's the sky is meeting the water, but as I zoom in, all of a sudden we can see there's a boat there.
Okay? Yeah.
And that's because we increase the angular size. Now watch, this boat's going to disappear from the bottom up because these little waves right here in the foreground are going to block the boat because the boat's getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And it disappears and melts into the horizon and it's absolutely gone. Now a glober will go, well, it's over the curve. No, it's not. I just showed you. We just zoomed in on it. Right? Yeah. It can't be over the curve. Right. And then the other thing is the horizon is an optical thing. Here is Skunk Bay, no tide here. And if you watch this beach and watch the buildings over the course of the day, just difference in humidity and temperature, like the buildings disappear, the beach disappears, right? Yeah. This isn't a tide. This is an optical thing, right? So one of the globe, top 10 reasons we know the Earth is a globe, because you could watch the sunset, and then when you stand up, you can watch it again because you're changing that's just perspective, right? That's just perspective. If your buddy's on the other side of a fence and you're below the level of the fence and he walks away, he's going to disappear behind the fence. But if you stand up, you can see. You can see his head again, right?
Yeah.
And it's all an optical thing.
So if whatever shape the Earth is,
Yeah.
surely with all the hundreds of years of discoveries and scientists and everything like that, surely there would be someone that would go to the edge or to prove this. Because I know, look, I haven't got a clue on any of this. Is there? But it seems to me there's a lot more science about us being a globe than there is being flat. Now, you may disagree with that. Are there scientists and experts that are agreeing with this?
Well, there's no science that says it's a globe. There's just scientism. Well, the experts
What's the difference between science and scientism?
Scientism is just made up nonsense. There's no proof. It's a conspiracy theory, right? Okay. There's no proof. Every test for axial rotation or curvature has proved no rotation and no curvature. Every test throughout time, and they hide these scientists that have done these experiments over time. And they don't hide them. They're Michelson and Morley, Aries failure, the Sagnac experiment. They do light. They do all different experiments, all different ways. You can look these things up, and they all prove the opposite, but they won't tell you. So, if we talk about scientists, let's look at what some scientists say. So, you know who Michio Kaku is, right?
No,
Michio Kaku. You've seen him. Let me see if this is his picture. This guy.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah. And so his quote basically says, if we're off by a factor of 2 or 10, it's horrible. He goes, but there's something wrong, but we're off. Scientists are off by a factor of 10 to the 120th. That's 10 with 120 zeros. Do you know how big 10 to 120 zeros is?
Big.
No, big. You can't describe it. Right, 10 to 120 zeros, a trillion. So 1,000 has 3 zeros. Yeah. 1,000,000, 1,000, no, 100 has 3. 1,000 has 3 zeros. 1,000,000 has 6 zeros. 1,000,000,000 has 9 zeros. 1 trillion has 12 zeros.
Yeah.
So 12 zeros versus 120. Yeah, right. Yeah. So 1 trillion seconds. I know those of you listening to this that are hearing this every time. It's important. I'm never going to give this one up. How long is 1 trillion seconds?
I don't know.
Come on, take a guess. And if you guess it within a week, I will give you a Bitcoin.
1 trillion seconds.
1 trillion seconds. Don't do the math. You just have to guess. If you guess it within a week, I'll give you 2 Bitcoins because Bitcoin's down right now. It's like 30,000.
5 days.
Whoa. Close. 31,000 years. Okay.
That's that shit I have.
1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. That's 12 zeros.
Well, I'm checking that.
Okay, you check it. You check it. 1 billion seconds is 30. Sure? 1 billion seconds is 31 years. 1,000 billions is 31,000 years.
I was crap at maths.
Yeah, well, but you were never taught to deal with big numbers like that. They teach you, Polaris, our North Star, is 433 light years away. Do you know how ridiculous that is? You know how absolutely insane it is? Good.
So what is it that you want to get from this then, Dave? What is it do you want more knowledge out there? You want people to understand more? You're trying to get the message out there? Do you see what I mean? Because you're always going to be up against it. You're always going to be fighting the battle.
I disagree. It is going so fast right now. So many people are learning about flat Earth. If you Google flat Earth, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay. Yeah. This is my app. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It bypasses all of YouTube's, Google's algorithms. Because if you Google flat Earth, you just find their anti-flat Earth stuff. Yeah, right? Yeah. They are petrified that people are going to find out about this. What flat Earth does is it wakes you up to the reality that we are at the center of creation. We're not corkscrewing through an infinite space. An asteroid isn't going to take us out. We're not running out of food, water, land, resources. All of that stuff is lies to keep you in fear. False evidence appearing real. Fear. Okay. Fear, and I talked earlier, I said that we only use 10% of our brains is what they taught us. That's the 10% they want you to use to be a good worker slave, accounting, algebra, right? Just business management, marketing, right? They want you in that, to be a good little slave. The other 90%, which all flat earthers use, are your creativity, your imagination, your connection to nature, your connection to source, your true power. Your soul is constantly trying to wake you up to this, but your mind, which is being controlled, steered by the news, north, east, west, south news, okay, is steering your mind, keeping you in fear, right? I'm gonna tell you another little tidbit. Nuclear bombs don't exist. Right.
Liar.
What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Right. All I got to say is Crow 777 Radio, 2 hours in crow.com, episode 054 and episode 400. The greatest thing you could ever do. And then you'll know anytime you hear a politician or a newscaster say nuclear bomb, you could literally laugh and every soul in your body, every cell in your body will rejoice. Like when you hear nukes, every cell in your body is like, ooh, we better do something about this Ukraine situation, or we could end up in a nuclear war. Nukes don't exist. Think how that changes your world. Okay. All of this is fear. All of the separation is fake separation. And they're trying to separate us more and more and more. Right.
Do you think that's why it's getting more popular? Like you said, there's more people getting on board. Is it, do you think because people are going against the grain now? I think people have had enough of people in power that lie. Right. And I think, so that's definitely going to help your cause, isn't it? Because people are getting a lot of, sick and tired of politicians. And I know you've
absolutely. Absolutely. But there's a shift that's going on. We're changing ages right now. And there's a shift in the energy, and people, this is the apocalypse. The apocalypse means the lifting of the veil. Everything is being shown. And for those with eyes to see and brains to think, we're being shown. The movie The Matrix is a documentary. Keanu Reeves.
Is it?
It's a documentary. The heliocentric system.
The new one's pretty shit.
Well, the first one. I'm talking about the first one. The heliocentric system is The Matrix. It is a prison for your mind. Right? It has you locked into this. This is all there is. Oh, we didn't even get to what could be beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. Right? So the heliocentric model has you locked into this where we're running out of oil or dinosaur juice, as they say. Nonsense. Right? We shouldn't even be using that. We're running out of land, baloney. Every family in the world could live in half of Australia. Okay. And on an acre in half of Australia. Or whatever the calculation is. The world, there's infinite water, there's infinite food. You stick a seed in the ground, water falls from the sky and food grows out of the ground. We're not running out of anything. We're running out of intelligence. So how is it a prison for your mind? Well, what if we lived here? This is where we live. Here's Europe, United States, South America. This ring is Antarctica. And then out here, there's more oceans and more lands. Okay,
why wouldn't we have explored that by now?
Because of the Antarctic Treaty. No one is allowed to go to Antarctica, right? If you try to go to Antarctica, you'll be stopped by force. If you go, you only go to this little tiny island right here, and this is it could be a couple thousand miles wide, right? Or 10, who knows? Maybe it's 10,000 miles wide before we go out here. But think about this. Think about the words. More land. What's another word for more? Extra. What's another word for land? Territory.
Yeah.
Terra. Yeah. Extra. Terra. If somebody lived out here and came to visit us in here, what might we consider them?
Extraterrestrial.
And where did they come from?
The Earth.
The outer space.
Right. I get you.
So this is scientifically possible, right? Where people, traveling across the earth plane, more land, more people, they probably speak English. Okay. Right.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but
because that's your belief.
I'll tell you why I have a belief in
that. It's not proven.
I'll tell you why. Quick, go into the app. In my app, this is the friend finder, and
they're telling me an app's going to tell me about.
No. Well, no. This is how you can find other people near you. All of these blue dots are people near me. The ones that have little people in them, that means they filled out a profile, and I could look at their profile. I could send them a message.
Because remember what we said at the start of this interview, where you said, "Believe," you're telling me that.
I'm telling you, and as I said, and I always say it,
correct.
No, everything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica or above 72 miles is speculation. But we can do experiments that show us these things. But this is a way to find people. Where are you located?
UK, right in the middle.
Okay, so we go to United Kingdom. Where is it? UN. There you go. United Kingdom. And we go over here and let's see if there's any flat earthers near you.
Oh.
Ready? Well, when it takes a long time to load, that's because there's a lot of flat earthers in there. Here we come.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Go to the Midland. Yeah. Zoom in on the middle.
Like here?
Down a bit. Because you've got Scotland. That's it. If you zoom in there, that's where I am, around there.
Yeah. So these are other people.
What's the orange?
The orange means that they're new within 60 days. The blue, so if they have a profile, they have a little head in there. And then there's other things where they'll change different colors depending on how active they are. But
what's the app?
Hold on. I can send a group message. You could say, all right, I'm going to select people within 50 kilometers, I'm going to go back to my location. And if I hit the group, I have within 50 kilometers, 367 people. I could send a group message. Hey, we're having a meetup at the Joe's Bar and Grill, Saturday, 4 p.m. Nice. Boom. We just did it in New York. We had 60, 70, 80 people show up.
Cool.
And then you could also send, you can send private messages to people. But if I go on the bottom left right here on this little number counter, these are the number of people in it. If I tap that, this brings me up a world view. If I want to kind of just go around and don't want it to load, I could zoom in.
Flat world view.
Yeah. I could see what's going on. Here's the UK. Yeah, you guys are getting pretty good over here.
Look at
right?
That. Wow.
Amazing. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Everything can be found at flatearthdave.com. You can scan this. If you go to Google, the Google Play for Android, there's already a fake one out there that they're going to try to deliver first. If you get that, don't send me an email telling me my app sucks, because it doesn't.
Because it's not yours.
It's not my app. Mine is by Blue Water Bay. You can't miss it. flatearthdave.com. All the links are there.
So what's the future then, Dave? What are you hoping for in the future?
The future, I'm hoping for people to wake up, because when everybody wakes up, and it's going to happen so fast, right? One video is going to go viral, and just everyone is going to wake up overnight. All governments fail. It won't be pretty. All governments will fail. All religious institutions will shut down. All the school systems will shut down, right? And everything will reorganize, and then it'll be a new free world. Here's the reason why. They don't want you to know that you're at the center of creation. They don't want you to know that you have total control over your life. They don't want you to know that no one has control over you other than in your imagination. They don't want you to know that there's infinite resources, that there's no problems. They don't want you to know that energy is free, right? Yeah. They don't want you to know all of this stuff. They want you to be a good little slave. Some evil people took over the world not that long ago, okay? We're talking like 100 some odd years ago. Okay. Like in the 1800s, there was an advanced civilization here. If you go into the more resources page on the app and you go to the Tataria Flat Earth button, which is, where is it? Right here. Boom. Yep. Mud Floods Tataria. You hit that, up come a playlist of videos that will blow your mind, showing you how fake our history is. You didn't like history? You know why? Because it's all lies. Watch these videos and you'll become a history nutcase. I mean, you'll love it so much.
So I always ask my guest, Dave, what bit of advice would you give someone then? If you were speaking to someone now and you could say sort of in a sentence, what bit of advice you would give someone, what would it be?
Don't believe anything I said. Go verify this stuff yourself. Okay. Right. The app is, by the way, the app is $3, right? If the app also has some premium features, you get the friend finder, but you can't send messages unless you subscribe. The subscription's $11 a year, but you don't need to. If someone sends out a message, hey, we're having a party at Joe's Bar and Grill, they'll probably include an email address in there and you don't need it. But if you want to send messages, if you want to use the Dark Sky Weather app, which is literally the best weather app, no commercials. And if you want to look at profiles and fill out a profile, you have to subscribe. It's one margarita a year. Okay.
So what was the advice you said there was? Don't believe what I'm saying.
Go verify stuff yourself. Don't believe known repetitive liars. Right. The point I was getting at in the app, on the books page, you have this book here, The Iron Republic. This was written. This was published in 1901, and it's about a politician that sold everything, bought a big ship, the crew, went to Antarctica and found a little inlet, got lost. They were lost at sea for a month, and they found land, they found a city, and then a boat came out and met them, and they're like, where are we? They're like, you're at the Iron Republic. And it was an advanced civilization living there. And the story was that these people came from the inner Earth, where we are, inner space, in the 1600s, because they didn't like the tyranny that was going on, and they left. Imagine that, tyranny in our puddle. Okay. And the story rings true. But here's the thing, whether it's true or not, in 1901, they were talking about more lands beyond Antarctica. Okay. Yeah. Right. So here's the thing. This is the advice I give you. Get the app, and every day there's a new video right here. Watch this, tap this thumbnail, watch the video every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the Earth is a globe, send me an email, info@theflatearthpodcast.com with your proof, and you win 3 Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to hit the frequently asked questions button, right? You go to the frequently asked questions, make sure your question's not answered there. It is. Okay. And then you'll be like, whoa, right? And once you see all of this, it will change the way you operate in this world, right? Everything changes when you realize that you're at the center of creation, and that you have a lot more power than they want you to realize. You unplug from the matrix and you stop giving your energy to these clowns that are running this place, and they're clowns.
So if people want to get in touch, what was the website again, Dave?
FlatEarthDave.com.
Right, nice. And everything's on there.
And then one thing is, in the app, on the more resources page, scroll down a little bit, right here, Flat Earth movies, right? Yeah. Full length Flat Earth movies. Hit that. Just watch these movies in order, right? The first one is the movie The Next Level, just came out. I'm in it, but that's not why I'm telling you to watch it. Yeah. And if that one doesn't get you, this one will. Military pilots blowing the whistle on how their equipment only works on a flat Earth. The next one, The Level from the year before. And this one, A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 questions. The top 21 questions all answered in 3 or 4 minutes each.
I'm surprised you've not done no one's asked you to do a documentary or anything like that.
This is it. This is a documentary right here. It just came out. It's getting unbelievably everyone loves it. Everyone that watches it, they're like, hey, thanks for ruining my life. Now I'm a flat earther. Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, look, we could talk all day, Dave, but unfortunately, we can only talk so much. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. So make sure you come back on, because I'm sure we could talk about a lot of other things. Well, but the good thing is you've given me a good introduction to it and a good idea of exactly what you're thinking about, and it's definitely food for thought. It definitely gets you thinking, which is great.
Here's the thing. I've just put a whole bunch of seeds in that you didn't know existed. Now the question is, are you going to water them, or are you going to try to ignore them? But here's what happens. I should give a warning before I have these talks, right? If you ignore all of these seeds I put in you, they're like little grains of glass stuck in your body. They're just going to irritate you forever, and they're going to make you sick. All right. And if you don't address them, and you know what? And by address them, I'm saying, don't believe them. Try to disprove them. I encourage everyone to try to disprove them. But if you want to just Google flat Earth, you might as well just kill yourself, because Google's not going to serve you anything worthwhile. Right. Go to flatearthdave.com. There's plenty of links there. You don't have to get the app. There's plenty of links there that'll keep you busy, that'll make you wake up. But just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and check out the reviews on the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's one of the highest rated apps in the App Store and Google Play Store, and everyone loves it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, look, Dave, make sure you keep in touch. And thanks so much for coming on. Look after yourself, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks so much. We'll see you.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.